let me do, okay. The way to study this is to see the original meaning in yoga and then the Advaitic meaning. So the original meaning in yoga, I'm going to do verse number 116 and 117. This is called Drishti, Driksthiti. What does it mean? In yoga, we are asked to, if you want to meditate, of course you sit, don't move around and calm your mind. And then, what about the eyes? Will you keep them open? Will you keep them closed? If you keep them open and look around, the mind will never settle down. And if you keep them closed, you may fall asleep. So one way out in yoga is to keep them half open. And one of the techniques is to fix your eyes in one point. One might be the tip of the nose, here. And then you sit in meditation. So that helps to settle the mind, fix the mind. When the eyes are fixed, mind also gets fixed. So when the breath is controlled, mind also gets controlled. Have you noticed when you're very excited, angry, the breathing is shallow and fast. When you are tired or sick, the breathing is slow and heavy. But when you're calm and focused, breathing is harmonious. It's breathing very rhythmically, deep and rhythmic. So the theory is that when the mind is calm, the breath is regular and calm. Now, if I make the breath regular and calm, will the mind become calm? The claim is that yes. So controlling the prana and some breathing techniques, you can calm the mind. That's another way. So multiple ways. How do you sit, which will calm the mind? I was reading an experiment in psychology recently. They said that they took some subjects and just told you to walk 10 paces with your shoulders stooped, looking down, and walk slowly. 10 paces. How do you feel after that? And then you come back and stand straight, look far ahead, and stride 10 paces. How do you feel after that? You'll feel a certain subjective change in the state of the mind. So the body posture itself affects the mind. We know that. So all of these are yogic techniques: body posture, breathing, fixing the eyes. But what does Shankaracharya do with them? You see, 116, 117, fixing the eyes. What does he make of it? 116. Drishtin jnanamayin kritva pashyet brahmamayam jagat sa drishti paramodara nanasagravalokinī. Converting the ordinary vision into one of knowledge, one should view the world as Brahman itself. That is the noblest vision, and not that which is directed to the tip of the nose. So he's humorous here. He says, what is vision? Vision is the vision of knowledge. You see the world through your Advaitic knowledge. That is drishti. Not looking at the tip of your nose, sitting and looking like this. You'll become cross-eyed. So he has this little humorous dig at the yogic practice. But he points, drishti, seeing, is not the seeing with the eyes. It's the seeing of knowledge. You know what it's like? It's like the drishti, jnanamayi drishti of knowledge. What is the drishti of knowledge? So, for example, Swami Vivekananda, when he was traveling in the deserts of Rajputana, Rajasthan, so he was thirsty, he saw some water in the distance. So he rushed towards that, but it turned out to be a mirage, yes. But now he knows it's not really water. It's an appearance, it's a mirage. That is jnanamayi drishti. He's still seeing the same thing. What he saw earlier, he's seeing now. But his whole attitude, his knowledge, his understanding of the situation is completely different. So he will not be deceived anymore. He will not rush towards it. He knows there is not even a drop of water there. Similarly, in this universe which we experience, we think there are men and women and sky and earth and animals and countries, space and time and quasars and quarks, and we think there are good and bad, nice things happening, bad things happening, and yet Advaita says all of it is an appearance in one consciousness, and you are that consciousness. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahmeva Napara. Brahman is real, pure consciousness is the reality. Jagat Mithya, entire universe which you experience, is an appearance. Appearance to where? Impure consciousness. It's not something to be proved actually, it's a fact. Isn't the world appearing in you, the consciousness? It is. That's all that Advaita wants to say. And what are you? Are you a body? Are you a person? So at certain level, the body is there. Certain level, the person is there.
But the deeper reality is you are consciousness itself. You are Brahman or Atman. Drishtim jnanamayim kritva. Make your drishti jnanamay, knowledge, the vision of knowledge. Pashyet brahmamayam jagat. See the world as Brahman. When we do not have the vision of knowledge, what do we see the world as? People, a hall, chairs, a body, a personality, time. This is what we see. This is samsara for us. When you see the Jnanamaya Drishti, what do you see? The same thing you are seeing, but you're seeing it all as nothing but the pure consciousness which you are, appearing in all these forms. All these people, and this person also, is you, the pure consciousness. All these non-living things, sky and earth, is nothing but you, this pure consciousness. Because it's appearing in you, has no existence apart from you, therefore it cannot be anything but you, the pure consciousness. So this is called Jnanamaya Drishti, the vision of knowledge. It's like looking at the sky. Now you have a bright blue sky. It was so stormy and rainy earlier. And now when you look at the sky, you know from your school physics, it's not really blue. The sky is not blue or red or dark. It's just colorless. But it looks blue due to the scattering of a particular wavelength of light. And so, with that knowledge, you can still see the same blue sky. You can see the sky is so blue, but you know literally it's not blue. I mean, Southwest planes are not blue because they fly through the sky. They get blue color from the sky. No. The sky is not really blue at all. It just looks like that. Similarly, with the eye of knowledge, you look at people and it looks like a very solid, real world out there, but it's an appearance. Another example, the dream example, is a very good example. In our dreams, there are people, there are activities, and you are there in your own dream. You're a person in the dream. You don't remember that you're dreaming. And you go about, you have good and bad experiences, then suddenly you wake up and you realize, oh, it was a dream. But this, oh, it was a dream, what does it mean? How did your attitude change towards your experiences? You now realize everything that happened in the dream was an appearance in you, the dreaming mind. Even you, the person who was walking, talking, having a cup of coffee in the dream, was nothing other than you, the dreaming mind. There was no coffee there, there was no walking and talking there, there was no... all of it was mind. In your dream, the cup of coffee was mind, the chair you were sitting on was mind, the body was mind, and all other people around you were the mind. All of it was nothing other than the dreaming mind. Is this true or not? Although it sounds crazy. How can a cup, a chair, a table be mind? And actually in the dream, if you start doing investigation, can I find the mind in this cup of coffee? You'll never find it. It's the mind which appears in all of these forms. Similarly, consciousness appears to itself as this, while remaining completely untouched. In dreams, you snap out of it. You wake out of it. Of course, there's something called lucid dreaming, but still, you generally snap out of it, wake up out of it, and you say, oh, it was a dream. In this world, an enlightened person doesn't snap out of it. Realizes that all of this is an appearance in me and continues here. Then it becomes a blissful existence. There's nobody apart from you. There is no high and low, rich and poor, no bad and good apart from you. You are the one who appears in all of these ways. That's why it's called Sadrishti Paramodara. This is the most wide, liberal, universal vision. High and low when? When I am separate from you, and if I admire you, you are an object of admiration for me, you're high. If I have contempt, and you're an object of contempt, you're low. This is my judgment. But if I realize all of that, this person and that, they're all appearances in me. They're nothing other than me. How can there be high or low? How can there be particular admiration or judgment? One monk said, in your house, if you have a statue of a horse, small statue of a golden horse and a golden ass, a donkey. Now, you will not say that the horse is great, throw the donkey away. Who wants a donkey? No, because both of them are the same gold. The donkey name and form and the horse name and form are not of so much importance to you. If you recognize that it's gold. That story of the jeweler who showed his son the vault where he kept all his jewels. And he said, you have to help me, son, when I'm in my business. So then he tells his son, he's working in the shop, tells his son, go and get me some gold. And the son goes back to the vault, opens it. Then he comes back and says, "There's no gold." The father is astonished. "What do you mean there's no gold? Yesterday I showed you." "No, there's no gold." Then he hurries back and he says, "Here's gold. It's full of gold." And the son says, "No, this is a necklace. This is a bracelet. This is rings. This is, anklets. Where is the gold?" He doesn't understand what gold is. It's the reality of those ornaments. Similarly, here, whatever appears to you, whoever appears to you, including your own self, this body mind, is nothing other than you, the awareness. This is sadrishti para. When the distinction between, why does it vanish? Because I, the consciousness, existing. So in knowledge, there's no distinction. Distinction between I and you, it vanishes. There is no more judgment of the other, because the other is, radically speaking, I myself. It is a oneness of this universe, a oneness of the universe in consciousness, in being, in Sat, or in Ananda. So this is called Sadrishti Parama Udara. And then he's humorous. Now, Nasagravalokini, not looking at the tip of the nose. He is a master of the dramatic, He takes you to the highest philosophy. And then he says, compare this with staring at the tip of your nose. But we have different levels. Something will work for me at one stage of my mind, and something will work for me at a later stage. This is very high. I remember a monk, young monk, in our main monastery. He came to study there, and he was studying all these things, Vedanta, Advaita, all of these things. And then one of the monks taught him the pranayama breathing technique. Breathe in for 4 counts, holding your nostril like this, then hold your nostril, we'll come to that. And then close your nostrils and then breathe out for 8 counts. Hold the breath for 16 counts. Then that Swami and the monk came out and said, "Yes, this is what I wanted to learn." So all the Advaita, the non-dualism and all of that was, okay, it sounds interesting. But this is really great. I'm sure he doesn't think that now, after 10, 20 years. But it shows a maturity. We begin to value things. In the beginning of our spiritual life, the technique I like, the teacher I like, really what I understand, don't be too taken up with it. Because know for sure that if you like a teacher and if you understand a book and you like a technique, that's probably at our level. And very soon, as I advance, that will seem very ordinary afterwards. Okay? That which you like at every stage of your spiritual life, that is something great. As you go ahead in life and read Kathamrita, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda's complete works, you find something every time you read it, every time you investigate it. Then, so what is the technique here? Drishtim jnanamayim kritva pashyed brahmamayam jagat. Making your vision the vision of knowledge, see the world as Brahman, as existence, consciousness, bliss. Remember the dream example. When you wake up, what is your change in your drishti, in your understanding? That it is all mind. Whatever I saw was my dreaming mind. That you do here itself. This is not all mind, but this is all consciousness, or nothing other than consciousness. In fact, in the Mandukya Karika, Gaudapada, he says, in the Mandukya Karika, the classic paradigm of waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and you are the witness, the fourth one, the witness of all three. Gaudapada says in one place, it's very radical. He says, there is no waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. There is only dreaming and deep sleep. There are 2 kinds of dreams. One dream is dream, another dream is wake. And then when you fall asleep, that's sleep. Both kinds of dreams and deep sleep are appearing to you, the one consciousness. Remember, this one consciousness is not this empirical consciousness which we are experiencing right now. I see, I hear, I smell, I taste, I touch. This is one consciousness plus mind and body already. To understand what that one consciousness is, think, how can there be consciousness, for example, in deep sleep? We don't think consciousness is there in deep sleep. We don't remember anything, no experiences, no knowledge. That's because the senses are not working. The mind is not working. But consciousness is there. It's like light in the blackness of space. In space, sunlight is there, but it still looks dark until, say, a comet passes through it. When the comet passes through it, you see a blazing display of the comet's tail. What happened? Where did that light come from? Did the comet bring its own light? No. Light is streaming from the sun, but there was nothing to reflect that light. So when the comet came, the light fell on that comet, and you see the brilliant display of the tail of the comet. Similarly, consciousness is there in deep sleep, in general anesthesia. And that's the way to appreciate what consciousness is according to Advaita Vedanta. What is general anesthesia or deep sleep? Everything disappears for you. The experience of an absence is deep sleep or general anesthesia. Experience of a presence is dreaming or waking. Absence and presence are both appearing and disappearing in you, the one consciousness. All right. Then the next one. 117. Again, drishti, vision. Darshri darshana drishyanam viramo yatra va bhavet drishti tatraiva kartavya nanasagra valokini. Or one should direct one's vision to that alone where all distinction of the seer, sight, and seeing ceases, and not to the tip of the nose. He won't let it go. The tip of the nose. He's making fun of the yogi. By the way, remember at the end he will say all these yogic techniques are all helpful. They're all helpful. Until the mind is calm, none of this will work. If you're jumping around, if you're thinking of half a dozen different things, this will not take. In Hindi, the sadhus they say, pachega nahi. You will not assimilate it. You will not digest this. So, sitting quietly, harmonizing the breath, even looking at the tip of the nose, repeating a mantra, focusing the mind, all of it, great help. Shankaracharya will say at the end, they're all great help to prepare the mind for assimilating this knowledge. So he's not condemning it. So what did he say? Your knowledge should be that where seer, seen, and the seeing are all one. The distinction between seer, seen, and seeing is gone. What does that mean? Here, clearly, there's a distinction between seer, the activity of seeing, darshana kriya. So this is seeing. Seer, seeing, seen. Clearly, they're different. I am the seer, I'm different from the seen. In fact, Vedanta uses this at the very beginning to say drashta and drishya, seer and seen are different. Now he's erasing that difference. But how do we understand this? How is it that this book, and the act of seeing, the difference is nullified, the difference ceases? How? Again, the dream example is very simple and easy. Suppose you saw this in a dream, and you woke up. And then you realize, oh, I was dreaming. So in the dream, I was in the chair, I was looking at the shrine, the Swami was speaking. So there was the object of vision, the Swami speaking, and the process of vision, seeing, and you were sitting in the chair. They were clearly different. But when you wake up,